going on, everybody? This is Brandon down here at Snake River Fly. We got another fly tying tutorial here for you. We're thinking about streamer fishing, right? It's getting cool out. October 1 is fastly approaching, right? Browns are going to start moving and shaking. Big rainbows, cutties, I mean, you name it. All these trout, all these fish, excuse me, are going to be on the feed, right? As we see irrigation kind of drop in our neck of the woods, these little safe havens in this high water that these minnows have had is slowly going away, and they're getting pushed into the danger zone, if you will, right? Where all these big fish are feeding. And so, you know, we fished a lot of different flies over the years, from the sparkle minnow, ice pick minnow, there's the complex twist bugger. All these flies kind of get clumped into this guy right here, right? The one thing is a lot of things with these bugs is either A, they're kind of a pain in the butt to tie, they're messy, you know, a lot of material, stuff like that. So we've tried to kind of simplify the process with still getting, you know, the same productivity, but eliminating some of those headaches, you know, kind of through there. So in the vise right now, I got a large cone head, silver or black nickel on this one. Looks really solid in this kind of gray, almost whitefish color scheme, if you will. Number 6, MFC straight-eyed streamer hook. Got some of the good old flat wax 6/0 here, spun up. I stacked a little bit of lead on here prior. Adds a little bit of weight, but helps seat that cone on there so our fly doesn't spin apart. But we're just going to dive into this guy. And so first off, we've got a piece of white marabou. Anytime I'm, you know, stack my marabou on here, I'm going to go about roughly two shank lengths for my measurement here. We'll wrap this stuff up just right behind the cone. Trim that out, clean up our base, and kind of helps create that ramp up to our cone there, up our lead. And then we're going to take a piece of our gray. I got this mega piece here, some big bird fiber, and so we're just going to strip a small portion of that off the stem, maximize our material. I'm going to stack that on top, make sure everything's kind of even there, give us that nice two-tone tail. Kind of repeat that same step, wrapping that marabou forward, kind of just behind the cone. That way we have a nice, even working area. Got that tail stuck out there. So next on the list here, we're going to take some of our hydro hackle in cotton candy. This one's got a bunch of cool colors in it, you know, some pinks, some blues, yellows. The chrome that we have, the pearl, and I mean really golds, you can change this color scheme up a bunch and tie it in, you know, just about anything you want. We'll have some pictures of some different renditions as well. But this one right here is one of my favorite fall colors. So we'll attach that hydro here at the back, advance our thread up behind the cone, and then we're just going to palmer this with touching wraps up to behind that cone there, where we'll tie it off. This hydro, you know, we've talked about it a lot. It's kind of like having a flash, a chenille, and a hackle all in one material. But you tie it in, you wrap it up, call it a day. And then also, you know, kind of just some tinkering that we've done and some advancements, you know, just on the classic SRF bugger or the hydro bugger that you've seen us tie before. This one here, we'll give it a little brush out just to pick out any of those trapped fibers. Like so. Cool thing about the hydro too, you can tie this in, you know, size 4, size 2. You know, the 6 or I guess 8 is probably the smallest that I would go, just proportionally, with this stuff just in its overall length. So now that we got this hydro tied off here behind the cone, we're gonna go ahead and grab one of these flank feathers. I've just taken the tip here, pulled those fibers down, right? So I have a nice tie-in point. I mean, you could use gadwall, you could use teal, you know, anything that's kind of got that long, wispy, kind of barred fiber. It's going to add a lot of life to this fly. So we'll tie that in by that little tip piece behind the cone. A couple securing wraps. And we'll go ahead and palmer that. 2 to 3 times. Depending on how much you want there. Behind that cone like so. A couple securing wraps behind the feather. Oops. Pulling that material back. And stacking some securing wraps in front. Trim out our excess. Like so. And then to finish this off, add a little bit more flash, right? But then also kind of create a nice taper and then fill in our gap here behind the cone. I've got just some of our UV blue solar flare. This one's already been cut in half once. We're gonna go ahead and quarter it or half it again, right? So I guess a quarter length, if you will. Stack that in our hand a few times. Like so. And we got that fanned out like that. We're gonna lay it right on top. Come in with our non-dominant hand from behind here. We're gonna basically pinch that fiber to where it kind of envelops that whole thing. You've seen us do this with, you know, other veils. Bring our thread up, the loose wrap, one more full rotation, pull that tight, like so. And I always like to bring one kind of thread wrap up through it, wiggling it just like you would through like deer hair. That'll kind of just help seat everything. Pull that fiber back, a couple securing wraps there behind the cone, and then we can come in and whip finish. Trim that out, come back in with our brush here, pulling that fiber forward and then brushing it back. That way it all blends, bleeds into that bug. Real nice. Like so. But like I said, kind of a rendition of all, right? You got this little sparkle minnow, little complex twist, little ice minnow. I mean, there's a lot of inspiration in there, but just a really quick, simple streamer tie that, I mean, we got 40 something different colors of hydro hackle. Marabou comes in every color under the sun. So, I mean, your color options are limitless, if you will. But this is a great, you know, late season fly. As these rivers are starting to drop, temps are getting cold, fish are putting the feed on, that you can fish on a dry line or a sink line, you know, on really any river in the West where you got hungry trout. So this one is the Spice Minnow. Give it a, you know, full watch here. We got all the materials listed on the website, ready to rock and roll. Probably a sale or something included in there too, but definitely one that I would give a whirl and go out there and catch some fish. So as always, we appreciate you guys watching these videos. You know, hitting the like button, subscribing, doing all that stuff helps us out a ton and allows us to keep doing this. So if you do that, we would love it. And happy tying, happy fishing, everybody.